world of the relatively cheap MacBook Neo, you wonder, what's even the point of Windows laptops anymore? They're pricier, uglier, and slower, but that's just Lenovo. Today, we're going to compare the MacBook Neo with a Windows machine that gives it a run for its money. Not in terms of price or performance, but for other reasons that I will certainly get into soon. Introducing the all-new GeekBook M16, who are sponsoring this video. Now already you can see that the GeekBook is more serious than the Neo because it has the Pro wallpaper, although I'm sure it's just different enough to not get sued. And that's the best kind of correct, technically correct. Speaking of being correct, here are the specs. The GeekBook has 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, and an Intel Ultra 9 processor. And it's currently about $827 on sale. So already you can see one reason that Windows machines still exist is they sometimes include little fun extras for you. You know, just little things like a charger. The Neo didn't come with a charger. With Apple, I guess they expect you to use the computer once and then just buy a new one. But with Windows machines, bang, there you go. This one's a 100-watt charger. Another thing that came in this whole package was a dongle. Apple, they charge a high price for you to touch their dongles. Meanwhile, GEEKOM, throw it in for free. Has an Ethernet port, a couple of USB-A's, and an HDMI port, and USB-C for charging. And of course, we get this from Ross. Good guy, Ross. Well done. Now, this is a 16-inch computer. And you know, sometimes those extra 3 inches really matters. And that's another reason for Windows machines, you get options. Like if you want to get a bigger screen MacBook, you got to go all the way up to the MacBook Air, which is now very expensive. And I can confirm that this is made out of metal, so it should survive pretty well. Not as fun colors as the Neo has, but you know, again, more serious. Now, before we even turn this thing on, I want to look under this bad boy. Hopefully I don't break this before I turn it on. That would be... Maybe I should actually turn it on first. But hey, let's live dangerously. I may have broken my wife's laptop, but hey, she wasn't sponsoring the video at the time, so ow, ow. Well, in theory, you're meant to be able to get into this thing. Whew. Why do computer manufacturers make it so scary to open their things? Whew. And we're in, booyah! As you can see, this is a chunky boy. It's got the 99.99 watt hour battery, as big as they can get to let you on a plane. We'll test the battery out a little bit later. GEEKOM says that it lasts 24 hours. Look at that, there we have the 512 M.2 SSD. So while Apple solders yours down, and if you ever have a problem with your SSD, well, it's part of the whole motherboard, so you're kind of screwed. GEEKOM let you remove that if you want. Again, another reason to get a non-Apple computer is not everything is soldered on. Tim got a soldering iron for his birthday. He's gone nuts with it, but you don't have to apply it to everything. And I believe you even get to plug in a second little drive over here, a smaller one. Although with the price of SSDs and stuff like that, you will still have to pay some money. One unfortunate thing is the RAM is soldered on the board, somewhere here, I'm not sure, but it is 16 gigabytes of RAM, so you do get a little bit more than the Neo has. All right, let's put this back together before I break it. Easy does it. Difficultly does it. With Apple recently hiking their prices, the Neo is now $699. And with the special discount thing I got below, this is $827. So now there's only $100 difference, which opens up the market to find a better screwdriver. Let's see what ports we have here. We have USB-C, USB-C, and HDMI, as well as headphone jack and 2 USB-A's. The MacBook Neo only has the 2 USB-C ports, and one of them's a super slow one. So another good thing about Windows machines is port selection. All right, let's crack her open. Power on for the first time. You need to connect to a power adapter. Lame. Well, good thing they include that in the box. All right, plug that in, power it on. There you go. Another little bonus of Windows machines is they can fold flat when you want to show God the spreadsheet you've been working on. Oh, that's right. One downside of Windows machines is they come with Windows. Let's see if we can survive this. Another bonus of Windows machines is they can come with fans. The downside is, listen to this. I'm turning on for the first time. So that's another reason Windows machines exist. On a hot day, they can fan you as well. Oh yeah. Okay, we're connected to the internet. Have a look at this. It's checking for updates. What do you think the odds are that Windows has an update available? Windows? Updating? What? Please keep your PC on. Well, yeah, I'm trying to use it for the first time. Why would I turn it off? Well, we're gonna let this thing set itself up. Another bonus of Windows machines is you get to have a cup of coffee while it gets going. On a Mac, you use it straight away. On Windows, you get to have a little break. One kita nap later. Okay, there we go. We finally got some Windows on there. Now, I did have a little bit of time to play around while that was getting set up, and I noticed the trackpad on this Windows machine is a diving board trackpad. So you can't click everywhere, you gotta click down in these corners. So if you think about it, that's another reason that Windows machines exist. It's so that you can appreciate the Mac trackpad so much more. Oh, and another thing, it's getting dark outside at this point, and that allowed me to see that this is a backlit keyboard. So that's another advantage it has over the Neo. You can see the keys in the dark, which is great when Windows takes a little while to update. Well, all right then, let's do a few little tests. Let's check out the speakers on this thing. All right, here we go. Random Dog, this one's a classic.
Random dog followed me home. Random dog, why don't you go home? I don't like dogs.
I don't know if it was the speakers making me sound bad or my own voice. Surely not my sweet tuneful voice. If you thought the Neo was strange shooting out the side, well, this one shoots toward the table, which is also called the opposite direction of where your ears are, but that's the difference you hear there. But one thing that Macs never really do is gaming. This does have Intel Arc graphics in there, not Intel Arc graphics. Intel's integrated graphics are actually quite good now. Why do games have ads at the start of them now? What the heck? My God, I hate modern life. Look at this, the menu in 200 frames a second, it's amazing. 300 frames! As long as it's not more complex than this menu, I think it'll be very good. Now once you get out of the menu, it starts going down a bit. Okay, so with some performance settings and set to film generation, we're getting around like 36-ish frames in this section. I wonder, is there a difference if we plug it in? And now it's a bit smoother, we're getting a few more frames now. Okay, so plugging it in does make a difference. But you see, the Mac locks it in at 30, whereas on the Windows machine, you can fine tune a lot more settings and you can have your frames go up and down. But they can both play the game. And I'm about to die on the Windows one. And I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get out of this whole game situation on the Mac. Of course, though, the advantage with the Windows machines is that you can basically download any game and it'll run on a Windows. All right, let's see what kind of performance you get on this machine here. Let's load up the all-powerful SAMTIME. Where's my SAMTIME? All right, turns out I uninstalled SAMTIME on the Neo since I last used it. So here's the challenge. We're gonna start this GEEKOM computer working while plugged in, bang. And we'll see if we can't download and install SAMTIME on this Neo and have that complete the test by the time this does one run. So let's go. The GEEKOM is off. It's doing a CPU multiple threads test. 3 gigabytes of SAMTIME? 10 minutes just to download SAMTIME. How big are these JPEGs? Well, looks like the Windows machine might be doing okay then. Yeah, SAMTIME, go, go, go. Now it's 5 gigs. It's getting bigger by the second. Turn on Windows backup? No. There's no time to back up. Only go forward. Only go forward, Windows. There's no time. And now, CPU multiple threads is starting on the Neo. Oh, Neo, you're embarrassing me. Just because this one had a 10-minute head start, you don't think you can win? Keep in mind, this one has a phone chip in it. This one's doing 2 squares at the same time. That's not fair. One kita slumber later. Oh, well, excuse me. Here I was saying that the Mac is the best at everything, but look at this, the Intel is actually better than it. Intel gets 3,213 points. Meanwhile, the Mac Neo, only gets 1,428. So more than double on the Windows machine. 4 multi-threaded tests. All right, let's test it out now on a single thread test. Go! It says here, heat warning in effect. Is that the weather outside or is that the laptop? No, it's the weather, okay. 2 kita naps later. All right, we've just finished the single thread here and the Neo, 505 points compared to 408 on the single thread on the Windows. So that's why Windows machines exist, so that they can do better than the Neo in performance, but also worse than the Neo in performance, just to confuse me and not sure what conclusion to draw here. Let's have a look at the webcams. Hey there, here I am on the GEEKOM M16, and here I am on the MacBook Neo. So, which do you think has the better webcam? Just looking on the screens here, does the GEEKOM one have slightly better definition and the Neo one have better colors? Which do you think reigns supreme? But here's the extra fun thing that the Windows one has, a little bloop camera disconnectinator. So you can have your privacy. Whereas, yeah, the Neo, you just gotta cover it with your thumb to get your privacy. Not right. All right, let's compare the screens now. So the GEEKOM, of course, a bigger screen and matte. The Neo, I think the Neo looks a bit better, but it is shinier and glossy. So let's add the webcams and the screens to the tally. Okay, and here we are after a quick battery test. I've had these babies on fire, playing a YouTube video for about 2.5 hours now. The GEEKOM's down to 75% and the Neo at 78%. So they've got a pretty similar battery life going on. And let's not forget, one of the biggest reasons, of course, and best reason to get a Windows machine is to get rid of Windows and put Linux on it instead. Now, to save some time, I do believe a little while ago, I actually installed a version of Linux on this little mini PC. So, to save installing Linux again, I'm just gonna harvest this SSD and transplant it into the extra little slot that the laptop had. Good, baby. This is like gold in this economy. Oh gosh, now we got to open this up again. Hey, I'm losing screws. I've got a screw loose. I'm an expert at this now. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. So now in theory, I should just be able to plug this in here, I think. Oh, bother. My little drive is too big. I don't know you could get even smaller ones. There you go. Turns out size does matter. Sometimes you can be too big. Bother, I thought I was being smart. Actually, relax everyone. I do have another laptop here that I do believe I have Linux on this big drive here. So hopefully this big drive will fit in this one here. All right, another transplant. As you can see, I'm doing anything to avoid installing Linux again. Yes! The transplant was a success. I'm the best doctor in the world. And the patient has Linux. Look at that, beautiful. We have my flavor of Linux here called Funk OS. I think the fans are actually more chill on Linux because it's not trying to send all that telemetry to Windows. So yeah, the best reason to get a Windows laptop is to put Linux on it. And that is why Windows machines still exist. Basically, if you want options in terms of screen size and numpads and backlights, and also if you want to hear the nice whir of a fan, the fan does go on this quite a bit, and the trackpad isn't quite as nice as the Neo's, but you do get the 16 gigabytes of RAM and that 16-inch screen. So if you're doing more productivity stuff where you need to stretch out a bit more, you need to even stretch your computer out to a full 180 degrees and maybe plug in a HDMI display port, well, that's when this machine shines. So check it out in the description if you want. Get a deal on the GeekBook M16 with my special code to get 8% off. And until next time, stay funky everyone. SAMTIME signing off.
Subscribe today.
Today we're gonna where are we? Oh, what do you know? There's even more updates available. Okay, let's do this last update. It's gonna restart the computer. Will it turn back on? You're 7% there. No, you're 7% there. I can do what I want now. That's it, time for another coffee.